And hello, everybody. Welcome to the second episode of The Insiders on Real Estate and Marketing. I'm Sandy Hibbard, and this is my co-host, Troy Olson. And for the next 30 minutes, we are going to be giving you insider tips to how to boost your real estate business to greater success. So I'm really ready for this. Are you?
I am. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really good.
Good.
If you missed the first episode, you can go see it on our website, theinsiderspodcast.com, and get all the nuggets there. There's a place where you can sign up so that we can notify you when new episodes come out. And that was the first episode. So I'm excited. Here we are, first day or second day, whatever day this is, of February. I can't believe it. What have you been up to?
It's been busy. January's behind us.
January?
It was a very good January. Normally, sometimes that's a little bit slower month of the year, but we actually had an incredible January, and
right.
Now we got to do better in February, right?
Yeah, and that's what we're going to be talking about, is how to do better, what we can do on that. Well, I've had a good time this month. I'm heading to New York on Saturday. Go see my baby niece. She's having a birthday party. She's going to get me on ice skates.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Lord.
One thing I've never been on.
Say some prayers for me, because it's been a long time since I've ice skated. But, you know, New York always jazzes me. I get with my clients when I'm there. It's the greatest city in the world, and for sure I learn something every time I go there about how to come back home and bring some new ideas for marketing to my clients. So I'm excited about that.
Tell the city hi, it's overwhelming to me.
I know you don't really like it, do you?
Been there one time and it was a little crowded.
Well, Troy, I know that you've been busy. You've had a big January. So let's hone in on what you're doing. Share with our real estate agents and business owners out there some of your things that you've been involved in and what you've got planned for first quarter.
So, I mean, obviously everybody has their New Year's resolutions, and, you know, whether it's the gym or business or finance or whatever it may be, and usually by the middle or towards the end of January, things started to slip.
Mm-hmm.
And for some people, we just, you know, we didn't let that happen. We committed to what we, you know, committed to. You know, we're making more phone calls, you know, than we've ever made, and I think that by doing that, you know, late in the year, with the transition that I made, I've used the tools and resources to keep doing that.
Mm-hmm. Prospecting
Yes.
mode. What are you doing?
I've been doing.
You really have to get into a mode for prospecting. It's a head game.
It's you know, you got to get uncomfortable and you got to get outside it. I mean, a lot of people don't like to do, you know, what we're doing right now because, you know, we don't like the way we look, or we don't like the way we sound, or we just, you know, it's a camera thing, and, you know, you get all blotchy and red and you get nervous, and just do it. Just pick up the phone, have your list, have your script, whether you need it or not, and just get after it.
Are you on track with your business and financial goals so far?
I am. So if you take what the sales production goal was for 2020 and you break it down in months, absolutely, we are right on track in January, and with what is in escrow, we are on track, you know, with February. Obviously, February being a little bit of a shorter month, March being a little bit of a longer month. So, yeah, now it's just, you know, sustain that.
Right. Do you find yourself having to, in order to be on track now in February, when did you start that? November, December?
Yeah, we started it in October. You know,
Right.
you don't wake up on January 1st and say, "Oh, what's my business plan for this year?" You know, we were business planning, you know, early in the fourth quarter, and I like to use, you know, the month of December when everybody else has checked out. Use the month of December as a guinea pig, as a trial run for exactly how we are going to time block and prospect for the month of January and beyond.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. Same way in marketing. You know, you don't just land in January and say, okay, I've got, you know, my pipeline's built and I've got all these things happening in marketing that are going to be bringing me business. It happens a lot earlier than that. Works the same way. So I know that you've been like crazy busy as far as time-wise because you just launched back into Bold.
I did.
So tell us about that and tell us what Bold stands for and what that means.
So Bold is a Keller Williams course, and it stands for Business Objective Life by Design. And it is a 7-week course, 1 day a week for from 8:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. And it really is about mindset, and it's getting you out of your comfort zone. But the whole concept of it is not just about prospecting. It is about sphere of influence and database management. It is about wealth building. But at the end of the day, it teaches you and really holds you accountable. So not only are we broke down from a big group of 80 into 9 groups of 9, but then we also have an accountability partner. And we have to we have to role play scripts. In fact, I'm doing that this afternoon at 2:30 with my accountability partner. So if you show up to class and you didn't make your contacts and you didn't book your appointments, there's no applauding for zero. So I took it in the fourth quarter. It was obviously the first time that I'd ever taken it, and just being in the zone, being in that frame of mind, being around other people who are winners and fighters and want to get more out of their business, I really enjoy it. Again, it's a lot of work, but I enjoy being in there.
I think it's good to keep you accountable. I mean,
absolutely.
You're learning.
Yeah,
it might not be that you're learning new things, but it's keeping you accountable. And I think entrepreneurs need that, don't we?
Well, we all get off track, and we all see the squirrel, and it's like, okay, we do this for a week or we do this for 2 weeks, and then we stop. You got to do it every day, all day, and you got to be purposeful about it.
Yeah,
and that's what Bold holds you accountable to do.
You're right. So in that accountability, obviously, I'm going to go back to prospecting for a second because I think that's huge right now. It's the first of the year. People are hungry for new leads. Talk about old school methods for prospecting, and then let's talk about out-of-the-box ideas.
So something that I learned in Bold is, if you're scared to call a past client because you sold them a house 5 years ago, you got your commission check, and then you didn't reach out to them again. It's like, oh, I sold them a house 5 years ago. It's probably too late now. Get over it. You'd be surprised. They would love to hear from you. They may have an opportunity, a referral for you. We get 4 letters of the alphabet each of the weeks that we're there that we need to call. Whether it's today you call the A and D's or you call the B and L's, and you pull out your phone, and anybody whose first name starts with an A, you call and you fill out your tracker sheet. So it helps you get back to people. It's like, oh wow, I didn't even know they were still in my phone, or that's a familiar name from 2013.
Right.
So
this is the work.
The work you've got to put in.
This is the work that's required.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's not going to slosh over you.
No, and it's every day. It's like you don't just wake up. My Bold courses through this Bold are on Tuesday. So it's not like I wake up Tuesday morning and I fill out 100 contact tracker and go, see, I did it. Break it down and just do 20 a day every single day. It goes quicker than you think. Yeah. And it works. You shocked the number of referrals that we can get out of that.
That's cool. So a new agent coming in that you're recruiting, would they have an opportunity for Bold? Is that something
Absolutely. So it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm in Bold with people that have been in there 13 and 15 times. This is only my second. And people say, well, why would they take it 13 times? Accountability. They may have been in the real estate industry for 20 years.
To keep you on track.
To keep you on track.
Right.
And if you're a new agent, you may say, well, I don't have a database. I don't have past clients. No, but in your phone, that is your database. If that is your CRM, if that's where you have all your contacts, again, you have more than 100 people in your phone. And the instructor will actually have everybody pull their phone out and pull up the number of contacts and then say, who's got over 500, who's got over 1,000, who's got over 2,500. There's money in your database, and that's what it teaches you to go after.
It's the gold.
And there's lenders in there. It's not just a real estate agent thing. It's not just a Keller Williams thing. There are agents in there from other brokerage firms. So I challenge you to come and participate and be part of it.
That's super cool. So what about out-of-the-box ideas for prospecting?
Yeah, so something that we never really did before is we didn't do a lot of paying for ads. And now, again, I want to say we're late to the game. Everybody's still trying to figure it out. The whole, Facebook ads. If you post a Facebook ad and you get a lead and say, oh, I'm going to call them, and it's a bad phone number. Well, maybe they don't want to talk to you. They'll give you your email address, but they won't give you an accurate phone number. take that name, take that email address, put them in your database, drip, 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 touch, follow up, stay in front of them. You might have to get 100 contacts to get a live conversation with somebody. But again, you're building your database, you're building your pipeline, stay in front of those people.
Right. And a key point here to make about databases is that you have to sift through a lot of people to find the people that are going to work for you.
Sure.
So you might get those online leads, which a lot of those online leads, as my experience has been in real estate marketing, are junk. But
Correct.
you have some gold in there. And so put them in your database, drip, 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 drip on them. You'll lose the ones that don't care, that aren't valid, and the ones that stick with you. And that might be 10, it might be 50, it might be 1,000. Don't get hung up on the numbers. As long as you're getting your message out to some of the people that are in that database, it will begin to grow. You've just got to go through a lot of people to get the right people.
Well, it's the same thing in your business. If you are in a room with 50 realtors at a lunch and learn or a workshop, and obviously your goal is to, capture as many of those agents as you can to be clients like I am of yours, you're not going to get all 50, you're not going to get all 100.
Right.
What's the ratio, what's the goal? The goal, of course, is to get as many as you want.
Right.
You want quality in your business, not quantity. And I'm not saying we want quantity over quality, but again, when it's internet advertising, yeah, you may have to go through 400 of them to get a closing. I was having a conversation with a real estate friend of mine at a different brokerage firm, and it's 300 or 400 before it actually happens and closes. But one commission check, for a $300,000 buyer seller, I mean that's $9,000. That pays for a lot of online advertising.
Right.
So
it absolutely does. What about Zillow leads? You do any of that?
I know that's something that I've never participated in. I haven't purchased those. I don't believe in chasing that strategy. I know that there are people out there that do it, and again,
some people
it works.
buy the zip code.
Yeah,
I think.
absolutely,
in some of
and they
those.
have exclusive rights to it.
I've heard good and bad about Zillow leads.
I mean, again, the leads are only as good as the back end. Like
Right.
you can get as many leads as you want, but if you're not going to touch them and nurture them and follow
Great
up with
point.
them,
That's the key.
what good are they? So if you're going to spend the money to buy them. You got to spend the time to follow and sift through and weed through, because they may be buying 18 months from now, they may be buying 2 months from now, and everywhere in between, or they may never buy. You don't know.
Right.
So, but
Right.
no, we've never purchased Zillow leads.
Okay. We're talking a lot about concepts for prospecting, ideas for marketing, getting people names into your database. But my experience has been when you hit the road with it, you need help. An agent wears so many hats, and I've always told my clients, I would not have your job. You're worse than a doctor. I mean, you get calls in the middle of the night, you get calls any time of the day. You have to be so many things and be so many places to sell that piece of real estate, and you have to know your stuff,
Sure.
and I respect that so much. So what that means is your marketing usually drops off.
Yeah, I mean that's really what we are. There's 60,000-ish agents.
Yeah.
In the system across DFW, which is a lot.
Wow, that's a ton.
And how do you separate yourself from everybody else? Again, doing things like this to help with, content and video and exposure and being seen and be relevant.
Right.
Those are the things that you have to do to, rise to the top.
Right. But my point is that you don't do it.
We all,
Am I
like I
right?
said, we all get busy. We all
so
get busy.
many realtors don't do it. You
No.
know what to do. You might even know how to do it. You've got the app. You're all set. Your tools are there, but you don't do it because you don't have time. And that's where I come in. That's where, being able to hire a marketing person to help you, to assist you, to make you accountable, to create content and get that content and that message out, I think is really important.
Yeah, I mean, when I get a new listing, from a marketing perspective, I don't personally have to touch it. You take care of it. You're the one that is, posting it and reposting it. And when we're doing open houses, you're posting it. Photos and video, I don't have to. That's leverage.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
have to do it. I mean,
And
you're the
lucky.
marketer.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point that you can do that. So there are some agents who can't. They're not
Understood.
at that point that can. So let's talk about then those things that an agent does need to do to get their marketing lined up. If you can't afford to hire help to get it done, then you're going to have to be very selective about what you choose to bring into your arsenal for your marketing tools. The first thing you got to keep in mind, though, it's about relationship building.
Sure.
And we keep talking about that in every podcast, but it's so true. That's the buzzword for right now. For this year, let's just say, it's about relationship marketing. If I don't have a relationship with you, I am not going to choose you to list my home, period. No matter how cute you are, no matter how many billboards you're on, the bottom line is I've got to build relationships if I'm a realtor to build my business.
Yeah, so it starts for me. It starts with systems. If we all get busy and instead, we get, real estate deal fever. It's like, okay, I got a deal now and it's under contract. What are all the things that I have to do? If you don't have your systems and your checklists and the right support system to keep track of it, then you focus on that and you stop marketing and you stop doing everything else. So the first thing would be some sort of system, checklist.
Right, absolutely. And I got a checklist. I've got a checklist for you.
Okay.
Today.
Let's see it.
You want to hear it?
Yeah.
Okay. 8 things.
Okay.
And Troy's mastered all these. Okay.
I hope so.
But 8 things that I want to bring to the table today that you need to master. First of all, let me just say you don't want to have one form of marketing only. You need to be diversified. So I've always taught in my classes that it's like a passing parade. Those people out there that need to buy a home are a passing parade. So you're only going to catch them when they're ready.
Right.
So you have to be constantly dripping, and you need to be where they are. So if they're on Instagram, you've got to be on Instagram. If they're on TikTok, you got to be on TikTok. If they're on LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever they are, your message needs to be dripping so that you can catch them. And so that's the key. So in that diversity mindset, let's look at 8 things that I think you need to master. Troy's mastered it. I've mastered it. Text and mobile.
Yep.
Guess what? Everybody who's reading your emails, practically everybody who's reading your email blasts, who's looking at your ad, who's reading your post, or who's visiting your website, they're doing it on their mobile device.
Correct.
So you want to make sure that all your content's formatted and responsive so that it shows up on mobile correctly, so that it's responsive to whatever device that they're on. So that's key. Don't forget that that little tool we have in our hands all the time, 24/7, is where most marketing is happening today. Very, very, very important. And then segue to actually using the phone like you're talking about, with texting, calling, going through that database, which is your gold, and making that effort to reach out to the people that are already in your phone. It's your gold mine. It's a no-duh. So mobile text. Number 2, social media. That's a no-duh. But you'd be surprised. I mean, I cannot tell you how many realtors I talk to that are wanting to do an interview with me, and I look at all their stuff, and they maybe have not posted on Instagram for a year, or what they're posting is just basically PDFs that they're getting from the title company or something like that. So that's not the right way to look at social media. Social media, you're building relationships. You're not selling the listings on social media. You're bringing awareness about the listing, but most of all, you're bringing awareness about you and your personality and how you serve them.
Which is why you preach post relevance.
Exactly. Every day. And some agents are doing it more than once a day. So whatever works for your followers is the key thing. Visual photos, videos, stories. Guys, get rid of your shyness. It's time to quit being so shy about how you look. You know what? We look how we look. I look my age. I can't help it. I'm not 25, right? So for me to go online and plaster my face and do selfies that make sense or whatever is uncomfortable, right? Do you ever feel uncomfortable?
Well, I turned 44 this week, so I'm going to be officially 1 year older than I was when I was last week.
Yeah. So get over your shyness. It's this marketing today is all about visual marketing. Stories on Instagram, stories on Facebook, quick little videos. I love it when I've got realtors that I follow, and there's one particular realtor that she takes a tour of her listing. And her listings are always beautiful. They're always staged. They're always inviting to look at. And she just walks through, and for 30 seconds, she's giving you a little glimmer of that listing, and maybe there's an open house coming up. I think that's great marketing. I think that's a great way to use Instagram and Facebook stories. So visual is it. So be visual. Okay. One-on-one relationships. Talk about that for a second.
So
Old school as you get.
Yeah, I mean, Brian Buffini, those in the real estate industry know he's, a very well-respected coach in our industry, not just coaching real estate agents, but lenders. And his saying is, belly to belly. And the younger generation might go, what does that mean? It means face to face. Don't hide behind.
Belly to belly, I like that.
Don't hide behind the telephone or the email or the text message. Go have a cup of coffee. Go to lunch. Go to dinner. Go to breakfast. Go to a sporting event. Go to a concert. Go to a networking event. Do something, but get in front of them. Don't hide behind the technology.
Right.
So he calls it belly to belly.
I love that. Belly to belly. So don't forget that. Digital and email marketing.
Yeah,
is
we're
huge.
still using email campaigns.
Yeah.
And I mean,
You've been talking about that. That's huge.
Yeah.
So be specific about it. Be deliberate about it. Plan it. I mean, there's nothing that works better for my business than my weekly email blasts. Every week, when I send out my weekly email blast that gives information, it's not salesy, but I'm feeding information to my database. I get responses. I get business. It's beautiful when you take great content and you have a list that you're developing. You send that content out. That's the way you get good leads.
well, in the industry that we are in, different people are going to see us in different formats. I mean, not everybody has a Facebook page, but they might have Instagram. They have Instagram, but they don't have a LinkedIn page. So we have to do all of them to capture.
That's the passing parade.
The wider net.
Right. You got to be there. You got to be there. Print. Print's still alive.
Yeah, we're still printing, professional property flyers and putting them in our listings, as a leave behind. I mean, again, I know it sounds like, why would you waste money on a flyer? They have the MLS sheet. The MLS sheet has, all the data and the specs, but it's got one photo of the front of the house. It doesn't have all the other stuff that you can put together in, the marketing pieces that you create for me.
Right. And print's still good especially if you're using it deliberately for your farm area. If you've got great content, again, I can't stress how important content is. If your message is flimsy, if it's all about you and your designations or what you sold, who cares? But if you're giving information that informs, entertains, and educates, that's a win. You want that postcard or that print piece to land on someone's refrigerator.
Absolutely.
Absolutely right. Content, blogs, newsletters, number one thing is content. And we keep saying that word, we keep throwing it out. What that means is it's your message capsulated into a form, whatever form it is that you're sending it on, whatever platform you're sending it on, that sends your message out. That's content. So what are you saying? What's your content saying? Is it talking about you all the time? Is it giving answers? Is it showing sloppy pictures, or is it giving great information and using great pictures? You have to decide. You're the one that's in control of your content. And if you need help with building your content, then get help, because I'll tell you, this is what makes or breaks a great marketing campaign. With your content, you're selling you. Not only are you selling your services and you're selling your listings, but how that content looks, how it sounds, is selling you. Last thing, but not least, is your website. I want to urge all of you in this first quarter to make sure your website is intact. I've gone to several agents just in the past couple of months, and their websites are broken. Their content is broken. Their links don't work. It's not up to date. Their pictures aren't on there.
Yeah, they're not.
It's
they're
not intuitive.
They're not linked to their Facebook page or their LinkedIn page. They're not compliant, which is a huge no-no in our industry.
Right.
So the cost of building a website has come down significantly from a handful of years ago. So if somebody goes to your website but they don't have a way to contact you, shame on you. So clean up your website, improve your website.
It's huge.
That is your that's what they see. I mean, other than your Facebook page, you know, the website's their impression of you
hub.
online. Yeah,
It's the hub. It's the thing that all of your marketing should flow out of.
Right.
Should be your Facebook.
yeah. If you're
your
if you're a
website.
luxury agent, look luxury. If you're farm and ranch, look farm and ranch.
Right, absolutely. So, last but not least in all of this, the message that I want to leave today, Troy, with our listeners is get your tools together. Get them together now. And these 8 things that we've just talked about in marketing, you may not be able to put all of those 8 things into play. You may not be able to master all 8 of those things right now, but choose 3 or 4 and get those things implemented. Make sure your tools are in line, and then choose 2, 3, or 4 of these marketing initiatives to implement into your marketing in this quarter. Because guys, it will be fourth quarter before we can blink our eyes. Now's the time to do it. Troy? Do you have a
I was going to say
closing comment?
closing comment would be I went to an economic forecast presentation put on by the title company that I use, and all indications point that 2020 is going to be better, you know, than 2019. Now, is it going to be 2017? We don't know yet, but if it's going to be better than 2019, you know, buckle up, get ready for, you know, short days on the market, you know, multiple offer situation. You know, we had a little bit of a, I don't want to say vacation, you know, a break from the madness, you know, last year, but it is, you know, it's early February, and it is absolutely, you know, game on, at least in North Dallas. So, you know, buckle up and be ready for a fun year.
Buckle up and be ready. Well, guys, this is it. I'm excited to have you listening again, and I invite you to visit theinsiderspodcast.com. Sign up so that you'll be notified when this podcast gets on the air, and you'll be listening and learning, I hope. Troy, have a super, super February.
Thank you. You too.
Thank
We'll see you soon.
Bye, guys.